Hello, everybody. Well, it's a result that was widely expected, just coming out about the election in Bangladesh. The BNP, the Bangladesh National Party, back in office for the first time in 16 years, if I got that right. And they haven't won an election for something like 20 years. Is this, yeah, the camera's still working. Okay, so the election was yesterday, results filtering through officially this morning. And that's because the July Revolution 2024, when Sheikh Hasina, who'd ruled the country for 15 years as prime minister, when she fled to India, I think it was actually the 5th of August when she left the country. They call it July Revolution. So since the 80s, Bangladesh politics has alternated between the two major parties. The duopoly was the Awami League, which is now outlawed, and the Bangladesh National Party, the BNP. So Tarique Rahman is the son of the late Prime Minister Khaleda Zia, and indeed of a late president who was assassinated in 1981, Ziaur Rahman, or Sheikh Hasina is the daughter of Mujibur Rahman, who was the founder of Bangladesh. He was assassinated in 1974, 75, just 4 years after independence from Pakistan. And Sheikh Hasina only survived because she and her husband were West Germany at the time. Anyway, so wow, and so there's also a referendum, and there's going to be a plebiscitary vote on amending the constitution. So the current president, Mohammed Shahabuddin, he was actually formerly the Awami League, but it's his formerly ceremonial post, but he's constitutionally mandated to appoint the leader of the largest party as prime minister. So that's going to be Tariq Rahman. So he's a dynast, as to say, the son of two leaders of the country, one prime minister, one president, just like Sheikh Hasina was a dynast, as her father was the founder of Bangladesh. Goodness, so that's it. So the turnout was quite low, about 58%. But because the Awami League was banned, the big question is what happens to those former Awami League voters? And they seem mostly not to vote it at all. Now, Jamaat-e-Islami is the major opposition party, but no, it's a Muslim country and it's a Sharia state to some extent. But the Jamiat Islam want to take that further and really make it something close to what the Taliban are doing in Afghanistan. Even they don't go so far as they're trying to outlaw cricket, which is the most popular sport. So they dare not risk that. So a lot of people haven't voted before. It's a very youthful population, so a population of well over 200 million, and so that's it. So the BNP's got this ambitious, kind of completely unrealistic policy. They said they're going to turn Bangladesh into $1 trillion economy by 2024. They're going to bring more foreign investment. One thing Jamaat-e-Islami and the BNP agree on is they're blaming India, partly because the Modi administration had a very cordial relationship with Sheikh Hasina and the Awami League. Awami from Awam, as in people. Um, and now that's why she's there. She's been charged with various crimes in absentia, sentenced to death in absentia. No doubt she's going to say, well, execute me in absentia. But India is refusing to extradite her. But surely for India, it's more important to have a good relationship in Bangladesh than one person. This woman doesn't hold power anymore. So Tariq Rahman, when there was a military government, he was arrested. He claims to have been tortured. He was allowed to leave the country, or when he vowed that he would not engage in politics. He lived in London for years, and some people think he claimed British citizenship because if he did, that would disbar him from public office. He says it's a lie, but he listed himself as British in some foreman company's house. Anyway, so goodness. That's why there's a tilt towards China, and the Jamiat-e-Islami agrees with that. Jamiat-e-Islami, some of them were Razakar, as in those who took the side of Pakistan in the independence war, or the Third Indo-Pakistan War, 1971. But the BNP, they're trying to appeal to the needy, to farmers. They're trying to make sure that they get a better price of their crops and things like that, and so on. Help people with the cost of living, make sure food is affordable, because there's lots of terrible poverty in Bangladesh. Okay, so the Awami League, will they ever be unbanned? And they say it's an illegitimate election because they weren't allowed to participate, and that's because it's been deemed a terrorist organization. 1,400 people killed in that July Revolution 2024. But if Sheikh Hasina is guilty, surely the president Mohammed Shahabuddin is also guilty because he's commander in chief of the armed forces. He appoints the judges. He's got some responsibility of that. Okay. So now the Jamiat-e-Islami, they're thinking they're going to win. And that didn't seem as crazy as it might do now, because partly the Awami League is not there. So maybe some of those people will vote for Jamiat-e-Islami because I think it's the only option to the BNP, and they don't want the BNP to win. So, the Jamiat-e-Islami tainted by their association in Pakistan, but that's 55 years ago. That's just not relevant anymore. And so Razakar, as in volunteer in Urdu, is still an insult there, as in to suggest you or your ancestors took the side of Pakistan. And so some of the Muslim fundamentalists said, well, this is divisive of Islam. We've got to stay united with Pakistan, but it didn't happen. So the BNP, they have won quite handily. So they've got 204 seats out of 300. Jamiat-e-Islami's got 76. As a National Citizens Party, it's got a handful. There were some independents. It's interesting that there's no socialist party in a country with a lot of pauperism. You think it might appeal to people, say, anti-capitalist. This really doesn't work for poor people. Notably, the People's Republic of China has applauded this election because they see, they're going to have a very amicable relationship with the new government, despite China treating its own Muslim minority abominably. So people are very critical of India. Dhaka, not Delhi, is the slogan. Okay, so presumably later today, President Mohammed Shahabuddin will appoint Tarique Rahman as Prime Minister of Bangladesh. And he said he never became a British citizen. Why on earth did you list yourself one on that former company's house? If it turns out he's lying, will he be removed from office? So what else is there? Shahabuddin's got a couple of more years to go in his presidential term. Somehow he's managed to rub along with the incoming BNP administration, despite him being an Awami League guy. So what else is to say? I mean, it was a remarkably peaceful election with very few accusations of personation or whatever bogus voting and things like that. So that is a healthy thing. So there we go. Bangladesh, a very overcrowded country, really sorted out their flooding problem. These are terrible cyclones used to inundate the country every few years and drown thousands of people and things like that. So Bangladesh is in Bengali nation, which is adjacent to Myanmar on to its east and India to its north and west. Obviously, there's West Bengal, the neighboring Indian state. They're also Bengalis, also speak the Bengali language, but they're mostly Hindus, whereas the Bangladesh is about 90% Muslim. A significant Hindu minority. There used to be more, but some of them have fled or whatever. They've got the same birth rate. If they intermarry, rare, the children are always brought up as Muslims. So there's some anti-Hindu prejudice. Partly they tend to be wealthier and stuff like that. The Jamiat-e-Islami is particularly anti-Hindu. BNP somewhat. The Awami League were thought to be not bad to the Hindu community. So the Hindu community is frightened by this new dispensation. Anyway, thank you so much for watching my video. Make sure you subscribe on Patreon, donate PayPal, georgecallan79@gmail.com. Tulip Sadiq, a Labour MP in the United Kingdom, she's the niece of Sheikh Hasina, and she's been found guilty of various crimes in Bangladesh, though she wasn't there for her trial. She says it was a complete kangaroo court. We shall see. All right, thank you very much, everybody. Goodbye.